let's not waste any time. This is going to be me listing the things that make me think that Overwatch 2 is worse than Overwatch 1. I made other videos about this a while ago, but in this video I'll be covering other points, so you can check them out after this. By the way, I think by free-to-play standards, Overwatch 2 is a great game, but compared to Overwatch 1, which of course you're going to be comparing it to Overwatch 1, this game is literally called Overwatch 2, compared to Overwatch 1, it is not a good game. It's not a good sequel, so that's the whole point of this video, other than the fact that I forgot to add in some points in the last one. So anyway, let's get right into it. So this first one is the fact that they quietly reduced the amount of XP you earn in between games. Before I break down that, and yes, it is true, I'm not gaslighting you, I promise. Before I break that down, I'll explain why they did this. So in Season 1, for anyone who didn't buy the Battle Pass or had played Overwatch 1, when you got to tier 55, you would unlock Kiriko. Everyone had a huge problem with this because it was like really far along in the Battle Pass. There's only 80 tiers and she's at 55. That's almost 3/4. So everyone complained about it, and so in this season, Ramacha gets introduced into the game, and he gets put at tier 45 of the Battle Pass. But apparently Blizzard didn't want the amount of time it took you to unlock a new hero to change, so they reduced the amount of XP you get. Just enough that if you were someone who only plays until your challenges are done and then gets off, which I honestly think is most people, it would actually take almost the exact same amount of time as it would have taken you to get to tier 55 in Season 1 to get to tier 45 in Season 2. Just to make this clear, the challenges still give the exact same amount of XP. It's just the XP you earn just for playing the game in general, just like the after-match reward XP, is reduced by about 20%, I believe. So yeah, it's a good time. You still get the same amount for challenges, but anything more than that, you get less. Just to increase that playtime and make you want that 20% XP bonus from the Battle Pass even more. Moving on from the monetization, kind of, the fact that first-time players get access to barely anyone, and it takes forever to unlock everybody. 150 games for the base heroes and 30 games each for every additional hero. So that's going to be a lot of time you're investing. Oh yeah, and it's not even games, it's wins for the extra heroes. So have fun with those shitty support games, boys, because yeah. Moving on from that, how about the fact you can't endorse the enemy team anymore? Like, why? It's not a huge thing, it doesn't like completely ruin my experience, but like the fact that On Fire isn't in the game anymore, but the voice lines and everything are, whose experience is being hurt by the fact that you can't endorse the enemy team? Like, really? It only makes people's experience better and less toxicity in between teams because it turns it from the enemy team into just people you're playing against. I don't know, this is something that I will stand on the soapbox and die over because, like, really, it's completely pointless to take out of the game. So anyway, let's move on. I know this is kind of pointless, but seriously. This one I really wish I didn't forget to add in the last video because it would have really supported one of my points, but that is the fact that you can't see other people's ranks in ranked or competitive. And if you didn't know, in Overwatch 1, if you press tab in rank, you would be able to see everyone's rank, surprisingly. In this game, just like the fact that you can't even see your own MMR, you can't even see your own team or the enemy team's rank. You could be in bronze going against golds and you would never know it. I mean, that's kind of normal, but it can get even worse, and you could be in gold and be going against diamonds and not even know it. And that is why this is such a huge point connected to my last video, because of the whole fact that you can't see your MMR, and that's what the matches are based off of. So if your MMR is really high but your rank is low, you could be going against really high rank people, but your rank is low and you'll never know that you're going against high rank people. Kind of messed up. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, watch the last video, but anyway, let's move on. This one's small, but it's another hill that I'll die on, and that's the fact that Mcree was renamed Cassidy. I don't know the details of it. Maybe he was always that in the lore or something, but I just remember that suddenly sometime in 2019 or 2018, he was suddenly Cassidy. It might have even been 2020, but nope. In my heart, he will always be Cassidy. Oh, no, not Cassidy. They're trying to get to me. He'll always be Mcree, and no one will change that, even though I may have shown the dark side of it there. But he's Mcree. He'll always be Mcree, and if I'm not being insensitive to anybody, if there's something about that, I just think a dude like that should be named Mcree and not Cassidy. So, yeah, stupid, but hey, who's with me? Mcree over Cassidy any day. This one's pretty subjective, but I've seen a lot of complaints about it, and I can understand it, especially at a high level, which I am not at, but I've seen a lot of gameplay of. And that is the no CC thing that Overwatch 2 introduced. I mean, I know Orisa and Sigma can do it, but no one else can. So for super high mobility characters like Lucio and Doomfist, they can just run laps around you and you have no way to slow them down. You just gotta have the aim to hit them, which, you know, you can just say, well, just get good, but this is a game of counterplay, so there should be some way to stop people from doing what they're doing. But when it comes to high mobility, and Genji too, of course, I'm sorry, my man, but when it comes to high mobility, there isn't really a counter other than good aim or good aim with Orisa or Sigma. So, you know, connected to being able to see people's rank, in public matches, you can't see people's level. This was publicly taken out because of toxicity, like almost all of these random ass features. But the reason for this is because super high level players were complaining that they were being bullied. Because every time you were in a lobby with a super high level player, I'm talking like level 1800 plus, gold border, 5 stars, with the platinum rims and all that, like people would be like, oh dude, get off the game, touch grass, stuff like that. But honestly, I think that's more of a problem with the people, not with the system. And problem with the people bullying and problem with the people playing for letting it get to them. Because honestly, if someone was like, oh, just go touch grass or whatever, I'd be like, yeah, you're right, but also look at this level, it's pretty cool, right? But now I don't even have the option to be like, look at this level, it's pretty cool, right? They just took that away from me because some other people got butthurt that people were telling them to touch grass. Like, really, features are taken out of the game because people were told to go touch grass. Like, that's the story of Overwatch when it comes to these kind of things. This one might be kind of controversial, but I think the fact that there is no cross-platform ranked is a problem. Especially at launch. I don't know if this has been fixed, but at launch, when you would try to go into ranked with a friend, it would just say you must be the same rank to play together. So it was really confusing, and it just gave no indication that it was because you were on 2 different platforms that you couldn't play together. Meanwhile, you're able to play everything else with console players, so it just kind of doesn't make a lot of sense. I think there should be a separate rank queue for just console players and just PC players, but I think that either open queue should be everything, just all players together for open queue, or there should just be a third mixed queue where it's just everybody, because I don't know, it's just something to include more people, and people who play with friends that are on different platforms just have the opportunity to play ranked together. Like, who's getting hurt by another little section being added or open queue being turned into mixed queue or whatever? Because all I ever hear about open queue is that it's not real ranked. So if it's not real ranked, why can't everyone play together? This one's very subjective, but the fact that 2CP was removed, I think, is kind of an issue. There were definite problems with that game mode, but I think the fact that it was just completely removed is just sad, honestly. I think at the very least it should be in arcade mode like Push is. I mean, Push is already in the main game, so why not just replace that arcade mode with 2CP, since you can't play that anywhere else anyway? Because, I don't know, it was a fun game mode to break up the pace of just move cart forward, move robot forward. Like, it was something different. Maybe different wasn't always good, but different is good to have at least somewhere, instead of just completely getting rid of it, in my opinion. This one's pretty weird, but it's followed a pretty consistent pattern, except for this season, but, you know, we'll get to that. And that is the fact that new heroes are always overpowered when they come out. If anyone was playing Overwatch when Brig was released and could 1v1 Reinhardt on her own, they understand. If anyone was here when Doomfist came out and could 1v1 the entire enemy team, they understand. But yeah, that wasn't really an issue in Overwatch 1 because everyone could play the character as soon as they came out. It's a problem in Overwatch 2 because not everyone can play the character when they come out. You might come at me with, but hey, Zach, Ramatra wasn't overpowered when he was released. And I'll come at you with, but he wasn't. Oh, what do you have to say against that, huh? No, actually, I'll say, but he was overpowered like a week after he was released. And that was just smart business on Blizzard's end so that there wasn't as much controversy when he came out. Because, hell, hey, he's not overpowered. But he will be in a week. And yeah, that's what he is now. He just destroys games now, and for anyone who isn't tier 45 in the battle pass or paid for it, they just don't have access to him, which I think is a genuinely huge deal. Along with the fact that Kiriko's probably the best support in the game still, the fact that the best support and arguably the best tank in the game are both stuck behind either a paywall or an insane grind wall is kind of annoying. This one I don't hear too much personally about, but I've seen a lot about it online, and that is the fact that Reinhardt is super weak. You can do well with Reinhardt, no lie, you can definitely do well, but when his pin does less damage than Hog's hook shoot combo, there's a problem. For Rein's pin, you have to fully charge your whole body at the enemy, get a perfect hit directly on them, and then take them all the way to a wall for 225 damage. You are putting your entire body on the line for 225 damage when Hog can just left shift, click, and do 300 or 400 damage even. It just something don't seem right here. I don't know. I think just 25 damage more on Rein's dash and things would be okay, but no, I don't understand this one. You can do well with Rein, but he is definitely weak compared to the other tanks. I don't know why, but he definitely is. To end it on something really weird, the fact that Echo was just kind of forgotten about in the transition between Overwatch 1 and 2. She is the only character without a 2D portrait, and she's the only character without an Overwatch 2 skin. Really weird. Doesn't ruin my gameplay experience or anything, but it's just like one of those changes, or not changes really. One of those things you expect to change that didn't. But I guess that's something Overwatch 2 is kind of known for with a lot of the stuff in this video and the other ones. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this one. I went a little off the rails at some points, but if you want to know more about what I don't like about this game, these two videos here will let you know, and I hope you enjoyed. See you later.